Okay, we're about to head off to SAS 40, and this site is located, about 5 miles away. One thing I want to show you is before you head out, one of the nice features is to work with your program manager. Make sure you have your latest KMZ files for your network and get them loaded on your phone. We'll go over this in training. So the one thing nice about having the KMZ files loaded to your phone is you can map directly to a place. You can pinpoint it and just say get directions. And I'm going to show you that here. Okay, so with your phone mounted in its carrier, I'm about to set off. So what I want to do is I want to go into my maps features. I should have already my KMZs loaded. Okay, it's showing where I am, of course. And now you see all these green dots, green pins. Those green pins are your check places, but those green pins are connected to what look like red lines. At the end of the red lines are the circles. Well, these circles are actually RAS and SAS locations. So I happen to know that SAS 40, I believe, is this one right here. And I'm trying to touch on it. It's not, oh, there it goes. So if you see down here, it says, oh, that's SAS 40. That's where I need to go. So now all I have to do is say get directions and start. It really saves me the trouble.
Head north toward Oakmead Parkway.
It really saves me the trouble of having to type in an address and then map it that way. All right, let's head off to the direction to SAS 40, where we're going to do a positive method number 2, positive offset. All right. Hello, here we are again. So I used the KMZ maps to get me here, and I'm actually in the back parking lot of a Safeway. What you might need to know is when you're going out to these sites, you may have to, if you don't have an escort, you may have to look around to figure out where that RAS or SAS is. So you might be looking at the tops of building structure like this. So we're on method number 2, and method number 2 is a positive offset measurement, which means I'm going to end up entering a positive measurement. When should you use method number 2? When method number 1 doesn't work out, you can't get the R2 level with the RAS or SAS for reasons like height. It might be height, it might be you're blocked, you can't just quite get close to it. This is where a positive offset should work really well. As you can see, my tripod's set up now below it, and you can see the RAS way up there. Even if my pole was extended all the way up, it still doesn't reach it. Also, after you're extended a certain height, you might be dealing with wind when it makes it unsafe, to risk the R2 being up that high in the wind, and if you can't hold it. So you're better off lowering it. You're better off shining the laser against the wall, measuring down to the laser, and when you run SASVT app, you're going to enter a positive offset. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of that right now. One of the things is my R2 is a little close to the wall. I really don't want it that close to the wall because it would block satellites. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this a little bit, so hopefully you can see both, is I'm going to move it further away. And hopefully you can see that. Now, what's super critical, the further you move the tripod away, the less accurate your measurement's going to be, unless for some reason you were able to get that tripod perfectly straight up with the bubble perfectly within the red circle. Now, we're going to try to do that, of course, but there's always that chance for error. So if you can get RTX closer to the building, get it closer to the building. When the laser is shining on the building, there's less chance of it being off much. If I'm further out here and I go like this, I'm off maybe 10 centimeters. We don't want that. So the closer is better if you can get RTX correction and good confidence C. If you can't, you're going to have to move it further away. Just remember that tripod's got to be set up as level as possible. Okay, I'm going to cut for a second, and I'm going to show you how to measure this. Okay, what I'm going to try to show you is I've got my laser on, and you can see a couple green lights. There's also a green light coming out to the wall, and I'm going to try to show you that right here. What I'm going to do is measure from the area we're supposed to be measuring to on the RAS down to that laser. That distance is the measurement I'm going to put into our SASVT app when we do the survey. Okay? By the way, we bought extra wide tape measures for this. It's not necessarily easy. You might be best to take a chalk and create a chalk line in case you lose sight of the laser. Okay, so what I measured from the RAS, what was really nice is I was actually able to grab onto the ground cable with the tape measure and measure down to my laser. I measured 242 centimeters, or 2.42 meters. That's important. You got to be able to know how to convert your centimeters to meters when measuring the tape measure. Tape measure gives you both metric and standard measurements. So 242 centimeters, or 2.42 meters. Positive 2.4. This, remember, I said this is method number 2, positive offset. Now we're going to do the survey, and I'm going to enter 2.42 positive number into the equipment, and I'm going to pause and start this and show you. Okay, here we are at the app. We're going to go into GNS survey, just like for the first 3 survey setups. It's going to ask me which device do I want to connect to. I happen to be using R2696, and it's right there. I'm going to connect to it. If it doesn't connect, just do another scan and try again. Okay, so we did connect. I am not getting good Z confidence right now. That's a concern. If you look at here, I'm only at 1.70, 1.4. It's coming down, but I don't have it's not in the green at all yet. I may have to move this tripod further away. Okay, well, we jumped down into yellow, so we're getting there. I'm going to show you a little something here. We are getting RTX correction. You can not only see it there on the equipment, you can see it here above the yellow text. We're getting RTX correction. In this box here, I said we need to enter, if you notice, it says height in meters. This is an offset in meters. We're going to enter a positive 2.42. Okay, hit next. You're going to have to arrow down to see the rest of the screen. Okay. For me to continue, I need to wait for us to get into confidence green. So I'm going to hold off and see if I can get it here. If not, I'm going to have to move further away. Right now, we do have 20 satellites, so I do believe we're going to be able to get a good green confidence Z below 10 centimeters. So I'm going to pause until we get that. To number 2, positive offset. I just thought it would be a good idea to talk to you a little bit about the setup. The setup right now, as you can see, I had to extend the pole, try to get it higher in the air to get better satellite coverage, which means the 2.42 that I was going to use before, I had to update in here. Now I'm 1.34 meters away. You can see my confidence Z is still just not getting very good. When this happens, it means you're not able to do method number 1, you're not able to do method number 2, you definitely can't do method number 3, you won't be able to set the R2 on top of that box. So the only other method left, if this fails to work, if you fail to, after 15 minutes to a half hour, getting a good confidence Z, which is this here, going to green, you're gonna have to switch to the altitude transfer method. So I'm going to give this some more time, but I thought this would be a good time to give you an example of issues you might come into in the field. As you can see, I've got huge trees probably blocking satellite coverage, a building. I'm literally surrounded by lots of trees. This is a case where I might have to go down there. You can see a few less trees, a little bit more open air, and do an altitude transfer. All right, I'm gonna give this a little more time and hopefully we can complete this. Okay, well, I was gonna just start the video. We were in the green. We're just off of it right now. This, you could probably maybe see it's 0.104. We're hopefully gonna change that yellow to a better color that's easier to read. But we're right off the green. I was just in the green a second ago. One thing to note, I've been to this site many a times and I've never had to wait this long for a satellite signal. Depending on time of day and the satellites you're picking up, it could vary. If you have trouble one time of the day, you might have to come back another day if you want to use a particular setup. Also to note, I've been here probably 20 minutes waiting for this to get down into the green. And it looks like I should wait even longer. It's jumped back up again. We're getting a little wind. You can't see the stuff blowing on the ground. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to pretend that it's green. Again, we've waited 20 minutes. You may have to wait longer. You may have to wait 30 minutes, 40 minutes. At some point, if you just can't get it, you're going to have to go to the altitude transfer method. Okay, so let's say I'm in the green. 19 satellites. I had 20 at one point, and I'm good to go. I'm going to come down here, hit next. It found SAS 40, which is what we're measuring today, and I'm going to tell it to measure, and it's done. So it gives you this data here. You can take a screenshot if you want by holding the right power on button and volume down at the same time. You squeeze simultaneously and it does that, and you'll see it show up there. That means you have a snapshot of that. At one point we were going to have you attach this to the closeout document, but now we're just going to add a picture. I'm going to email this information to me and you'll get this information here, and this is the information. The lat, long, and altitude are what you're going to enter into the closeout document. So I'm going to email that. You can do this when you get back to your car or when you get back to the hotel. Just remember that it's SAS 40. So when you use when you complete the closeout document, you want to put that bit of data and copy and paste into the closeout document. Okay, one last thing you may want to do, you may not want to do, is we need you to do is take a picture of the setup. Something like this here, and that gets pasted into the bottom of the closeout document. This lets us know when you entered on the previous page, when you entered 1.34, I believe it was, what we finally set to on the offset, we can come back and go look at this and go, yes, he did use a 1 meter and 34 centimeter offset, and it was a positive number, and that was correct. Okay, so this was it for method number 2, positive offset. And again, this gets used in situations where the R2, you can see extended completely high, still doesn't get you up to the SAS. And you can't obviously get up to the SAS in this situation, so you're best off doing a laser offset and measuring down to the laser, and this is again positive offset. I emphasize positive because it's a positive number when the R2 is below the RAS or SAS device that you enter. All right, thank you.